And in your life, you're going to be faced with things, with projects, with opportunities where you're going to be all alone. I feel a part of me right now in my life, we're starting on this new adventure, this thing, I'm all alone. There's times where I'm traveling around the world where when I go into a village in Africa and I see horrendous things. I travel with armed bodyguards now in Africa to protect myself because there's corruption over there. And there's benefits of driving. There's people who love me come over there, and there's people who want to kill me. Because I'm educating people that people are preying on to stay them, to keep them down, so they can slave them and they can do things to them. But to me, it's about doing what's right. I do with the people. I go spend time with the people in the villages and find out what they want. Some of you were with me last week when I brought some of the kids over from Uganda, East Africa. I had the concert last week here in Vancouver. Some children that are orphan kids, ages 3 to 13 years of age, that have lost their parents. You spend time with these children, it changes your life. See, when you go to a children's hospital and you walk in and volunteer for a couple hours or a Canucks place in Vancouver, it changes your perspective on life. And when you realize that when you get out of your way of yourself and realize that there's a greater purpose to your life, that rather than just being a school teacher saying, oh, I'm just going to get these kids that are coming in every day, saying, how can I contribute to the future of these kids' lives? When you get up tomorrow and you realize you have a client or a customer, it's like, how can I breathe something into this client's or customer's life that can make a difference in their life? Help people more than just with their job or their career. Help them with their lives. Empower them with their lives. Some of you are involved in real estate in this room. Realize that in real estate investing, it's not just getting more doors. It's creating opportunities for people in their lives to live someplace. And what you'll find is some of the most successful people in terms of millionaire mindset, billionaire mindset, what they do is they solve problems. It's about solving problems. I met a gentleman one time who flew into the airport here in Vancouver. We met at the Fairmont Hotel. He's a very high net worth man. And I'd done a lot of research and due diligence on the man before I went and met with him. I walk up to see him, and he had a whole stack of newspapers. And I said to him, I said, can I ask you a question, sir? I've watched videos of you. I've read articles online, and you're a very optimistic person. Why do you have all these newspapers? You're not reading the financial stuff. You're reading all this doom and gloom. He looks at me and says, it's my God's to-do list. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I look at all the areas of problems around the world and I think, how can I create an opportunity to solve those problems? Well, the masses are in stress and panic and taking medications, all that stuff. I look at a way through my mindset of how can I serve and make a difference and solve that problem. And he goes, the bigger the problem I have, the bigger the benefits, the bigger the drawbacks. The more I get hugged and the more I get slugged. The more I get kissed and the more I get kicked. Does that make sense? You're going to always be hugged and slugged. I have people attack me all the time. He has no education. He has no PhD. He has no MBA. He has no formal education. How does he come in and train our company? How does he do this? But the thing is, to me, it's noise, because all I do is go out there and persevere. It's not always easy. See, the thing is, you'll see a lot of speakers and trainers that will tell you all about success. They don't tell you about the organized chaos behind the scenes. They don't tell you about the adversities and challenges and financial challenges they go through and struggles and things that they go through on a consistent basis. They hide all that stuff. But as you start playing at different levels, you'll realize the authenticity of where people say, listen, let me tell you. One of the greatest things I love doing when I sit down with business entrepreneurs is don't tell me about your success. Tell me about all the mistakes and failures and challenges you've overcome in your life and what did you learn from them. That's the juice for me. I'd rather sit down with somebody and tell me about all the mistakes and challenges you've done. Like Dan. Dan going through 13 businesses that have failed. Bust. You think he's learned a lot of what to do and what not to do? Right? And no one's ever asked him. When I first met him and I learned about him, Rosalind, who introduced me, where's Rosalind? Rosalind here. Hey, Rosalind introduced me to Dan. When I first learned about Dan, the first thing I thought was, what has this guy learned? And why is he so consistent and persevering with 13 business failures? Immigrant coming to this country, doesn't speak the language, no money. What's the driver? What drives him to get up in the morning? What drives him to stay up late at night? Why does he just keep working all the time? What's the driving force? What's that human need? Does that make sense? And so one of the things I want to encourage you to do is when you're around people, for some of you in this room, you're out networking, business prospecting. Some of you like to go to Starbucks and the Blends and Wave coffee houses. I want to encourage you this year to level up. Start going to the Fairmont hotels. Go to the Four Seasons. Go to the Pacific Rim. Go there and have your meetings there. Go there and make your phone calls there. If you've got to write a business proposal, go there and write a business proposal. Change your environment. Every couple months, go to an art gallery. Every couple months, go to an art gallery. And walk around and look at all the beautiful paintings. Today I was walking down Burrard Street. I was looking at all the buildings in terms of the sacrifice that these men and women made to build these buildings, and the engineering and the blueprints, and how much behind the scenes they had to hustle to find the money. When you meet the guy here in a couple of weeks that's working with the Trump thing here, you see it all in the front. Oh my gosh, that guy was so successful. You don't see the sleepless nights that guy goes through behind the scenes. You don't see that because it's polished. It's good. I want to know that guy, what keeps him going when he has adversities and challenges and setbacks. You understand something. If you want to become a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a billionaire, there's benefits and there's drawbacks to it. And what happens is we focus on all the benefits. You don't see the drawbacks of maybe having to get an alarm system for your house, having to live in a gated community. You don't see the drawbacks of having to now have accountants, attorneys, trust accounts, holding companies, tax planning. You don't see all the stuff behind the scenes, the things you've got to learn, different life insurances or insurances. You don't go from dating, you go to interviewing. Does that make sense? In your teens, early 20s, you date. In your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you interview. How many of you know that you've learned from experience? Right? So the thing is, you don't run into things as quickly. And so what I want you to be aware of as you travel around is there's incredible amounts of knowledge and wisdom. If you want to become a millionaire, this month find 2 millionaires to take them out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Take them to a coffee. And say, listen, I've got 10 questions I want to ask you about the steps it took for you to get to become a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. You'd be amazed